Welcome to Storytelling with Amna Berkey, and I'm joining you from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Treaty 1 territory for this occasion. This is a story from the 13th century. Long time ago, Mullah Nasruddin worked as an imam or a preacher of a small local community near the city of Bukhara. And he was content. He was happy meeting the needs of his local community. He led their prayers. He led all the things related to the funerals that happened in the community and any events. And also, as a spiritual guide, he loved solving problems for his community members, meeting their needs in every spiritual way. One day, when he came back home, his wife was so upset and he asked her, "My dear wife, what happened?" And she said, "Well, this is not the first time this happened, Hoja. It's happened many times, but today was the worst experience of all. In fact, it was so bad that when I went to the local hammam or the public bathhouse, the water was cold and the soap was missing because by the time it was my turn, it was all done. And you know why? And remember, this is not the first time this has happened because the people, the staff at the hammam serve the women from the royal family and the women who are the wives and daughters of the merchants before me. This is so unfair. You do so much for this community. I know you've been hired by the local mayor, but any day you can lose your job. Why not do something else so that I get the respect and dignity in this community as well? My dear wife, what could I possibly do other than the work that I'm used to? I've done that for years. And you're right, my job is insecure, but what else could I do? I know you can't be from the royal family, but you can be a merchant. Me, a merchant? How merchant? I don't know the first thing about buying and selling, and what would I sell? Oh, my dear wife, this is a dilemma for me now. I don't know what to say. And then she stormed out of the room. That night, when Hoja went to bed, he couldn't sleep. He was so upset. He tossed and turned, thinking about his poor wife, his companion. He had spent a lifetime with her. She was everything to him. And he also thought, if his wife is unhappy, how could he tell the men in the community, happy wife, happy life? And happy life means happy wife. That's what he always told the people who came to him for marital problems. But now his own wife was unhappy. The next day, instead of going to work, Hoja took his small gray donkey and he rode the streets of his small town near the city of Bukhara. And he kept thinking, what could I do? What could I do to solve this problem? And then his gaze fell on his small little donkey. And he thought, I live in a small town. What do I need a donkey for? I can walk from one place to another. And he sold that donkey, would you believe, for 20 dinars. That's 20 gold coins. But from all that money, he could only buy one small stall. But he came home and he was so excited. He said, "My dear wife, look, I'm on my way to becoming a merchant. But there's one problem. There's no other money to invest in anything else. All the money I have, I bought a small stall." And the wife was so excited. "Really? You did that for me? You're changing your careers for me and for your own safety? Because that job that you had, any day the mayor could change his mind." And he said, "Yes. But what do I sell? I have nothing to sell." And she said, "Yes, you do. You've been giving more than your work was paying you freely to people. You've been giving people wisdom, which is priceless. It is time to cash in on that wisdom that you've been passing on." "Wisdom? What do you mean?" "Well, all the sayings that you say from the wise people that you know, the proverbs, the verses from the Quran, you can sell those." "Sell that? No, 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 no. That doesn't sound right. Allow me to show you how." And then she brought small scrolls of paper and then she opened them up and she said, "Give me a saying that you say to somebody who comes to you for some advice." And he spend the night saying all the sayings and advice that he gives to people. And she started writing that in intricate, beautiful, exquisitely delicate calligraphy, different styles of calligraphy, each one better than the other. And then she wrapped them up and she brought this earthen pot and she started putting all those scrolls inside. And then the next day, Hoja took that pot and took it to that stall, and he put a large banner that she had written, Seller of Wisdom, on. And he started yelling out, Seller of Wisdom, Seller of Wisdom, come and buy your wisdom from me. Seller of Wisdom, Seller of Wisdom. Everyone, come, welcome to wisdom. And the streets looked at him. What's wrong with our Imam? What's wrong with our preacher? What is he doing? Is he trying to trick us? Seller of wisdom? And he has nothing with him except a pot, a clay pot. Oh my, and what's wrong with him? And then people just laughed, shrugged their shoulders, and went on about their business. The whole marketplace was filled with beautiful things like silks and scents and spices. And here was an empty stall with barely anything, and someone claiming to be selling wisdom. Well, Hoja had no luck selling wisdom, but one day the great Tamerlane, or Amir Taimur, was on his way to the city of Bukhara, and he stopped in the town of Nasruddin. And when he saw Nasruddin selling wisdom, he came to him and he said, Nasruddin, what's going on? I thought you were the Imam of the local mosque. What are you doing here? And Nasruddin said, I am now a merchant. I am a seller of wisdom. Would you like to try some? Would you like to buy some? And Tamerlane just tossed a coin towards him. And then Hoja presented him with that earthenware. And Tamerlane plunged his hand in and drew out a scroll. And he opened it. And it said that, that's what it said. And he thought to himself, let's see if this works. And he took it with him, put it in his pocket, and he took that wisdom to his palace, where he asked the artisans to carve it in the walls. Do you know what it said? It said, always think before you act. You can say it with me. Always think before you act, and never act before you think. That's right. Always think before you act, and never act before you think. And on all sides, all four corners of the palace walls, that saying was put, carved out with the intricate designs that the artisans knew. Well, one day, Tamerlane was out in the streets. And then when he got back to his palace, he took a walk in the back of his palace gardens. There he admired all the gardens and the fountain in the middle of the gardens, recycling the water from the fountain to the ponds. And he took a look at his image, and he could see the palace walls also moving in the water. And it reminded him that his life and his tenure as a ruler was limited. And any day, just like the moving reflection, it could come to an end. And he also noticed that his beard had grown so much that he needed a shave. He asked his advisors, I need a barber. A barber was presented to him, and he came in. And that barber came in with a blade made from gold. He was holding it and looking at it. And then that barber looked at the saying around him that said, always think before you act, and never act before you think. And the barber looked at the other side of the wall and said the same thing. And he read it and read it and read it. And then he looked at the blade and he put it down. And then he took out another blade that looked really rough, old, with a wooden handle. And Tamerlane said, why did you put that golden blade down and you took out this old, shabby looking blade? What are you doing? And he said, yes, I was ready to use that golden blade for you, but When I looked at the saying on all sides of the palace walls, I realized that if I think clearly and don't act on impulse, then that's better for me, because I don't know the new golden blade that your advisors had just given me, but I know my old trusted blade with a wooden handle because it's my old companion. And I know how sharp it is and how dull it is and how well it works and how well it doesn't work. So I am ready to use this blade on you. When Tamerlane heard that the advisors had given him a new blade, he wanted to know which advisors and why. And when he got to the bottom of it, he realized there was a plot to get rid of him. And he had the golden blade tested. It had the most deadly poison on it that would have killed him immediately. Tamerlane got a pouch of gold coins and presented it to the barber for his wisdom in knowing to make the right decision. And then he took a sack of gold and he walked to where the stall of Nasruddin was. And Nasruddin Hoja looked at Tamerlane and he was worried. Is he coming back to take away my stall, my life? What's going on? But Tamerlane was smiling and he said, Hoja, Nasruddin, because of you, I am still alive, because of the wisdom that you're passing along to people. In fact, I want you to take this gold and you will never ever charge for wisdom because no one should buy wisdom. I want you to go to all towns on the Silk Road where I rule and spread this wisdom for free. And that's why Nasruddin's stories and wisdom are found on all the routes that connected the Silk Road to this day.